Hi, it's Rhianna here and welcome back to this week's video. This week's video is the first in a series I'm calling the 6 Split series, which focusing on different types of splits. Starting with this week's video, which will be looking at the straddle splits. So doing this, I'll do 6 poses I use daily that helps me with my splits, so hopefully it'll help you guys too. If you like this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up or subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Okay, let's get into it. Also, I forgot to mention, for this video I'm going to be using a wall for some of the poses as well as a yoga bolster. If you don't have a yoga bolster, feel free to use a pillow, or you can even roll up a bunch of blankets too. The first pose I'm going to show you is the butterfly pose, which is basically just warming and opening up your hips. So to get into this, we're just going to put our legs together. And a tip I use is with the feet is fold it out, like imagine opening a book. So fold out and then slowly pull your hips forward a little bit and stretch out like this. From here, you can suck in the core and lean forward a little bit, which I'm feeling here. Or another way is to push down the knees, or even come forward and hold for a couple of breaths. So I like to hold this pose for about 30 seconds to a minute. Just as long as you can. Even one in here, there's also another option which you can slightly, so you can come up again and slightly just move the legs. Just really small pulses and movement, which really helps to open up the hips, especially for straddle splits. The second pose I'm going to show you is a pose called the frog splits, which is basically another good one to open up your groin, especially before you get into straddle splits. So what we're going to do, so anyone can basically do this pose. We're just going to start down like this. And if you can do this, so basically like a closed child, you can do and attempt frog splits. So from here, we're just going to inhale, exhale, slide the legs out towards the ground and hold for a couple of breaths before we inhale, come forward and pull your pelvis towards the ground. So inhale, pull back. Exhale, pull forward. So we're aiming to try and get the pelvis onto the floor. So inhale forward, inhale back, exhale forward, inhale back, exhale forward. So notice how each time you're doing it, you're slowly getting more room, opening up. And it's also important to make sure that the knees are open as wide as you can possibly get them. So once you've done this a few times, you can move on to extended frog, which is just bringing the legs in together. So we'll try opening up a little bit more. So inhale, back, exhale, forward. And maybe if you have more time to do this, you can slowly start to inch back. So I'm going to try and get back to the wall and just show you how much you can actually open up in this pose. So inhale forward, exhale back. And once you feel like you're at your limit, you can actually hold it. So whether your feet are still out wide or together, just hold for another 30 seconds to a minute. Just really feeling your pelvis and hip open up. You can even do a slight back bend in this pose as well. And come out the same way we started. So you can put your hands together, pop up, and just start with your legs together. So just coming back to a neutral position. So for pose number 3, we're going to actually grab a bolster or cushion. So now we're actually going to attempt to get into the straddle splits. So to do that, we're just going to put this down. So coming up to your position you are at, and slowly inhale up, exhale, start to come down into your straddle. So wherever you are, no matter how high you are or low. So you've got 2 options. So one, if you are up quite high, I'd grab the pillow and just put it under your legs and hold here. So from here you can choose to just come forward to wherever you can and hold for a couple of breaths. If you already have your straddle splits, so over time you can remove the pillow as you get further towards the ground. So if you are further down or even up just a little bit. This is where you can grab your pillow or bolster and just hold here. So if you're up high or low, just hold the split for about 30 seconds to a minute. So again, it doesn't matter how high you are, so if you are up here, just actually holding for about 30 seconds to a minute, or coming down if you are into a further split position. That's one I actually helped me with my splits quite a lot, and I was doing that sort of daily, and that actually helped me to be able to get fully to the ground. So it doesn't matter how high you are, like if you just keep doing the pose and holding for about 30 seconds to a minute daily, it does help a lot. So going on to, I think it's my fourth pose, is definitely going to open up those hips a little bit more, and we are going to use the wall. So just coming round, we're just going to open up the legs and pull ourselves as close to the wall as we can. So now we're just going to lie back down. So you can hold here, or another option is we're actually going to put our feet up the wall, and we're just going to first inhale and making sure our lower back is touching the floor, then exhale, opening up our legs as wide as we possibly can. So doing this a few times. So inhale up, exhale lower. And hopefully each time you do this, your legs will get closer down to the wall. And you can hold for about 30 seconds to a minute. So each time you do this, inhale, exhale. You're actually getting closer down into your straddle splits. So just staying here, we're going to go into our fifth pose for our straddle splits. Is actually, once you're getting into your straddle splits more, is actually using the wall to help you get straighter straddle splits. So we're just going to come up, making sure our butt's touching the wall. So inhale again, and exhale, come down closer to the wall. So it doesn't matter how high you are. So that would be a full person ideal if they could get there down into their straddle splits. But if you need to come slightly forward and then come back and hold here. So if you're again up quite a bit, just starting to do your straddle, just hold here for a couple of breaths. And if you can come down full straddle, hold as well. So again, just hold. Finally, the last pose I'm going to show you is something I like to call a straddle walk. So it's just helping you to get deeper and opening up your hips at the same time as getting into your straddle. So we're just going to start getting into a straddle, again, wherever you are at. So just coming down, so you don't have to be this far down, so just wherever you feel comfortable. And we're just going to walk our legs out more. So walking forward and holding here for a couple of breaths. Hands come up under our shoulders and walking back into our straddle. So I'm just going to show you that 2 more times. So inhale, crawl forward, exhale as you lie down, and coming back up. So sort of when I come back up, I'm pushing my hips back further time to get into a straighter straddle. So one more time. And coming back up. So there you have it. I hope any of those 6 poses you can choose to do. You can do all, you can do just a couple that you find easier that helps you get started with your straddle splits. And I hope you enjoyed this video. The next video I will do is be looking at side splits. So it'll be a series of 6 poses for that as well. So stay on the lookout for that. Also, just wanted to say that when you are attempting some of these poses with the split series, you may find that you're finding one split, noticing more improvement on one type of split rather than the others. And that's also just depends on your sort of hips. So some people find going into straddle splits easier than side splits and vice versa. So yeah, again, just listen to your body, try and do some daily practices. Yeah, and I hope this video helps and you notice some improvement. I'll see you guys next time.